Right, we're up to number 8, and Pauline's stepping back. And there is some stuff in PX, so just if we get a bit deep, we'll have to go into PX.
Probably need to. I know. Don't point it out. No.
Team shoots. Team shoots. Yeah.
You're lucky my camera's not working.
It's like Tim and I with our pinstripe jacket.
Well, you know, Aaron and Andre, it's the same thing.
That's true, same button.
Yeah, Andre sits in the blue corner.
No, we're clearly not. It's entirely different.
Aaron.
Where's my stripes?
Aaron
No,
and
no.
Andrew.
Is Aaron got stripes? No, it's you and Aaron.
He's got like. That looks totally different.
That's a different rings.
Making decisions. at
Thank
this-
you. John, she's all yours.
Take your jacket off, Tom.
I want to.
The report is fairly straightforward. The report covers a decision on the council on whether to approve the drawdown on the second tranche of support towards the operation of the Christchurch Foundation over the next financial year. This has been discussed with council in a number of workshops and a report back in March. Rose and I are here to answer any questions, and we're at your disposal.
Thank you. I'm just following up on the previous discussion that we've had around the future sponsorship in regards to the library. I see that that's kind of mentioned in here as one thing that the Christchurch Foundation might continue to do. I'm just trying to understand if that's a role for us or if that's a role for them. It seems a bit, yeah, I'm not quite understanding why we would need the Christchurch Foundation to do that when we could do it ourselves.
Probably the foundation's role would be to provide the pass-through funding aspect for the corporate organisations, whereas the conversations and that key relationship would remain with council.
And do we have any time frame? Because I know some of those deals have expired.
That is something that has to be discussed. Yeah.
The report is really towards the ongoing operation of the foundation, as opposed to details on fundraising around Tauranga. We're probably not prepared, and we haven't engaged with the libraries team to be able to answer questions of that nature.
Sure. Or do we go into PX for that?
We're not. We haven't got
Be
the right.
Okay, Victoria.
Thank you. John, I note in your report at 4.10.3 when you're talking about some of the disadvantages about funding, and you raise the issue about the lack of financial information, particularly in relation to the length of time the foundation will be dependent on council funding. We have seen documentation from them that proposes that they will require additional funding for up to another 15 years. So can you just explain then why you're saying you haven't seen it? Because we have seen that.
For the avoidance of doubt, that information has been attached in attachment.
There's two.
Attachment 3. It's the point the report's making is it's not included within the strategic plan that was provided, but it was provided to council earlier, and it's in that attachment.
So we have been told, and we have seen information from them that says they have modelled it out, and they've given us 3 different models of what it could be, and it takes it out to about 2040, where they will continue to come back to us seeking funding to prop them up.
Yeah, and the issue discussed in the report is whether that's attached to the strategic plan or not.
Okay, and it's
a
not.
separate document.
Have you, at the moment we're looking at 220, have you extrapolated out the sums that are in that graph to show us what this could look like over 15 years?
The work that we've done is primarily following council's decision over the next 2 years. So we've focused on the financial year 2025-26. We'll see how we go with that. But
So that's like giving us bite-sized pieces of fudge without us seeing how big the piece of fudge is that we're going to be eating. Yeah?
It's 2 years. Council made a decision to potentially support for 2 years. After that, look at the matter in the context of the long-term plan. We've attempted to follow council's decision-making for that.
Thank you, John.
Any more questions? Yeah, Aaron, sorry. Yes.
Just on the concept of the philanthropy and things like that, which doesn't seem to have taken off really in Christchurch, but I noticed some of the big philanthropy clubs around the world are often attached to universities and things. Are they, well, obviously they bucket loads of money now, but are they run by like millions of volunteers, or are they run like as a business?
The university,
Not our university, like ones that have bucket loads of money.
Yes, they are run by professional staff. Any volunteers are probably in the governance area, maybe around some of the any of the fundraising campaigns. Some donors who are well connected may give their time in towards a big campaign to go and cultivate or steward some major donors, or they are definitely professionally run and paid roles.
Right.
And the University of Canterbury do have paid staff. They have a foundation who are volunteers.
I'm not sure if this will head into PX or not, but I'm going to ask the question and then let you decide. We've seen some information about projected funds under management that suggests that they'd be looking towards an estimated 1 billion in the pipeline. Have you got any more information on that? Because that's quite aspirational.
Is that 1 million?
No, 1 billion in the pipeline.
Oh, this is New Zealand.
That's
This
in
is
the
a
PX
national
document.
context.
Yeah.
That's a national context.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's talking about bequests.
Okay, so that's the national context rather than the Christchurch Foundation.
The Christchurch Foundation has got some bequests targets and have some bequests already in the pot.
This is a national foundation.
This is national.
It's
This is
national.
Okay.
Do we need to do the? So just a question from me, and it's bordering on PX. So with the bequest, you don't get the money until sadly the person isn't here. And who's to know when the person who may be bequesting the money isn't here? They won't be rushing into it, I wouldn't think. But so it's that's how a lot of other foundations get their money, from bequests. And I understand there's a number in the pipeline waiting for something to happen. And so that means that going forward, they won't continually need topping up by us, because they will be getting the bequest pipeline will flow. Or is that put?
Can you just clarify, have they secured the bequests, or are they just potential in the pipeline?
Currently the foundation has $1 million in its bequest pipeline. It means that people have pledged bequests in their will to the foundation.
Good.
So I've got one,
Yeah.
and I know we're not meant to, but I just want to take that Tauranga example that Yanni raised, because I'm just trying to understand. I think you mentioned the point that, like, if you took an example like that, we would hold the relationship, but they would be the funding.
So
what do you mean by that? Yeah.
So at the moment, TSB, Spark and South Base pledged a certain number of funds each year. That money went through the foundation straight into council, onto libraries, so that the corporate could then claim some benefit from that.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand, is why couldn't the corporate claim that benefit through us? What am I missing?
It was, historically, I wasn't around at that time that the decision was
I'm more
made to
thinking
send.
going forward though, like I'm just, yeah, I would have thought you could claim that through council, like unless I've missed, like, because it's just an advertising expense, which every business does every day. So am I missing something? Or-
Councillor, I think to answer that
Sure.
question, we'd need to go away and do a little bit more work on that.
It's not the charitable point, no, it's the taxes around the advertising component. Yeah.
It's just, so from what I'm picking up to answer that question, it's because they chose to do it that way, but there's no necessity to do it that way. They chose to run it through the foundation, but they weren't required to get any additional benefits.
Sorry, they chose or we chose to run it through the foundation?
Or actually, we may have chosen to.
Some of the people don't have, I think, of directorships as well.
Okay.
Yes, Mary, that
But really going forward, we've got to do A or B. So you're walking out of here with A or B at the moment. So there's no more.
Yeah, so I chair the Mayor's Welfare Fund Trust Advisory Committee. We've really done some clarity around the role of that and the delegations, but in the past, my understanding is that that fund has been used where people, for disaster relief, for example, so when we had the Port Hills fires, people would make grants, money into that. Also, we held the funding for post March 15th. I think some of the Department of Ethnic Affairs funding went into that trust. So we have a vehicle. So they're talking about establishing a regional disaster fund, but I'm just trying to understand what's different, like why you couldn't just use the Mayor's Welfare Fund, given that we've used it in the past and it seems to have had no issue.
the Mayor's Welfare Fund was set up at very, very short notice after the Port Hills fire to capture immediate contributions that people wanted to make, primarily towards the volunteers and the people affected. So it was a very convenient vehicle, as opposed to perhaps a long-term fund to make substantial change into the future. So there are a couple of different purposes. That's why we use the Mayor's Welfare Fund for that instant time.
But in this report, it says to respond quickly and offer tax deductibility. Would people, if they donate to the Mayor's Welfare Fund, they would still get tax deductibility, right? It's a charitable trust.
Again, to answer you fully, we'd need to do a little bit more work on that. I don't have the answer to that on hand.
I mean, I guess the general concern, is there any, I'm just trying to understand, is there any risk around them duplicating the work that we currently do, or just creating another layer of bureaucracy that on things that already exist to respond in the ways that we currently do?
I think certainly the 2-year strategic plan that we read focused heavily on increasing funds under management and bequests, and they have been 2 areas that the advice that we've received foundations are particularly suited to doing, and that's the essence of the plan over the next years, as opposed to perhaps duplicating what council or other foundations are doing at the moment. But the degree to which councillors see value in the foundation is essentially the decision before council at the moment.
On the balance, we'll do 3B.
I'll second that.
Okay.
I'll foreshadow to approve it.
I'll second that.
You'll foreshadow.
To approve A.
Thanks, Sam.
Well, it was sitting on the table for so long.
Okay, so
Yeah, exactly.
no, righto, so there's no more questions. Anyone? Right. Or zero.
As a city, it's really easy sometimes to take short-term decisions when we need to try and keep the big picture in mind. So charitable charitable trusts such as Rata have been incredibly valuable for the region over a period of time, but they were set up with a large amount of money to start with. A foundation could do the same type of thing for the city with a range of other things and priorities. But because it hasn't had that massive injection to start with, it takes time to build. Yes, the foundation haven't been off the blocks and sustainable as quickly as they had initially thought, or we had initially thought. But I think it's worth persisting because strategically in the long term, this could be a massive benefit for the city. And there are more, waypoints along the way. And I think that we need to make sure that we're thinking long term instead of short term when we think about this grant. Thanks.
Marcus?
Yeah, I tend to agree there with Councillor Templeton. I know I've been actively working with the foundation and Lynn to introduce her to a number of parties to try and grow their importance and value to the city. I can certainly see the vision down the track that they do have the potential to be a significant asset for our city as an avenue for philanthropic receiving and then passing on to the city. Therefore, I would be uncomfortable in declining today. I hope my fellow councillors would have been doing some homework in the background and looking to introduce the foundation around their connections as well. And going forward, the opportunity to do that. The foundation does have the potential to have some great value to our city.
I just wanted to address the duplication part of the argument, which would be quite funny if council actually took bequests. I don't think any ratepayer would want to give us money other than what they needed to give. So I think that the foundation would be highly valuable in this part. And in the ways of disaster relief, I think that they have a great long-term view on things when we actually probably have more proactive and reactive funding opportunities with them as welfare funds. So I'd like to support the foundation. I actually have faith in the governance, the new governance, and so I would like to say that I'm probably going to be supporting this today. Approving.
Victoria?
Oh, thank you to the foundation for coming today, and thanks for the work into this documentation. We now have a little more detail than we did have previously. The council's heard my views on this previously, and I still have some misgivings. What we have here with the documentation really is still a scattering of vague ideas. There's very few delivery mechanisms provided to us. There's still little accountability. And my biggest concern is that there is insufficient financial reach. We may think that you've only got 220,000 at this moment and another next year. Please don't be fooled by that. We've seen their planning. We have been told that it could take them anywhere from 10 to 15 years to reach a point of financial sustainability. So for an organisation that is seeking well in excess of another $1 million of public money on top of $3 million that has already been provided over the next 10 to 15 years, I think the lack of rigour around the finances is just indefensible. Raise concerns about this in the report. Thank you for highlighting that. There's no doubt that they will be coming back to us over the next 15 years, and I just don't know where it's going to end. So I don't have the confidence from the information there to be giving away public money. And the reality is that not funding them means that they will have to work harder to find the funding. And I know that raising philanthropic funds is hard work, but so is adjusting our budgets to meet the demands and to cater for all the demands on our public funding. So I implore you, my colleagues, to think about it, choose your heart. Raising funds is hard, making our money go further for public money is hard. Choose your hard today. And so I have no doubt this foundation was set up to build something meaningful for Christchurch. And I agree there is a place for community foundations and they can do some really good work. Right now, to me, holding the pen over this and having to vote on it it appears that the foundation is just built on, is full of good intentions rather than good planning and robust financial rigour. I won't be supporting it today.
Yeah, look, just very briefly, this is nothing personal around the Christchurch Foundation.
Sure.
You know, and certainly in my view, I think, look, it would be fair to say when it started, you know, it did get a bit out of control. And I think some reviews led to some good outcomes, and I acknowledge the team that have done the work and each and everyone who have led that. It was bloated to start with. I think it's quite refined. The thing that worries me is a bit like Victoria's, we're sort of leading them down a path where it makes it very hard for them to progress, you know, year on year, having to come in and get money when we can't give them certainty because they can't give us certainty on what they'll do. So I actually don't think we're being fair to them today by not just making the tough call. This has been years in the making. I think we've given ample chance to do it. I completely acknowledge it's got way better than how it was operating before. And I should acknowledge the team for that. But I don't think we're being kind to them today if we were to lead them down the path any further.
All right. So we put the moved and seconded one, and when if that passes up to the tail, we then go to foreshadowed one. Right. So I'm putting now the one that says we decline. That's right. Put it right here. Yep. To decline giving the $220,000 to the Christchurch Foundation. All those in favour of option A, please say aye.
Aye.
Against?
No. It's option B.
You just say option A?
Oh, should we do it again?
Okay, right. Okay, sorry.
It's on the script.
All those in favour of option A?
No.
B, we're voting for
No,
B.
yeah, I'm doing A again because it was getting.
No, but it was B. Stands on as B.
B is what's on the table.
Declining it, yeah.
So do you agree? It's got to be right.
I know where you're going to vote now.
You're only one letter off.
Now, all those in favour of option C?
That's right.
Righto, okay, so now I'm all those in favour of option B, which was moved by Sarah and seconded.
No. Other way around.
Sam
moved B.
Option A is the foreshadow.
You need a computer there.
Sorry. Yes. Sam said option B, so I'm putting option B first. All those in favour of option B, please say aye.
Aye.
Against option B?
No.
Division. It's a list is online too.
That didn't take long, did it? Sorry, that's my fault.
All right. You have to leave your jacket on.
So this is for option B, the decline. Councillor Moore.
Yes.
Councillor Johansson.
Yes.
Councillor McClellan.
Abstain.
Councillor Barber.
Yes.
Councillor Goff.
Yes.
Councillor MacDonald.
Yes.
Councillor Kewen.
Yes.
Councillor Fields. The Mayor.
No.
Councillor Scundra isn't here. Councillor Harrison Hunt.
No.
Councillor Coker.
No.
Councillor Templeton.
No.
Councillor Donovan online.
No.
Councillor Peters
No.
and Councillor Henstock.
Yes.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 against.
Determines who he wants to vote.
I'm sure you can. Jake Casting.
Come on, Jake.
It's status quo, we can't approve today.
You've got the foreshadowed motion as well. Oh, you just put the foreshadowed one.
Yeah, it didn't pass, so you
It didn't pass, so we do.
pass, so you go for the foreshadowed.
Which do we have?
Didn't pass.
Yeah.
We'll take 5 minutes to get our Ron, for coming back. After the discussion in the week break, we are now putting the foreshadowed motion, which was option A. So, all of those in favour of option A, which approves the drawdown, please say aye.
Aye.
Against?
No.
Good on you, Sam.
You can't move.
This is for 3A, which is approving for Celeste. I know you can't see it all, but it's to approve the plan and the drawdown. Councillor Barber,
No.
Councillor Coker,
Yes.
Councillor Donovan,
Yes.
Councillor Fields.
Yeah.
Councillor Goff,
No.
Councillor Harrison Hunt,
Yes.
Councillor Henstock,
No.
the Mayor.
Yep.
Councillor Johansson,
No.
Councillor Kewen, Councillor McDonald,
No.
Councillor McLennan,
Yes.
Councillor Moore, Councillor Peters,
Yes.
and Councillor Templeton.
Aye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Should
7,
we give Jake the chance to debate it now?
7 against. 7.
That's carried. Thank you very much. Welcome back, Pauline.
Oh, that's right.